G'day guys, welcome back to In My Shed. I'm BC. Back on the same old matter of bugger the parting tool, and I finished the job sort of and come across something rather strange. I didn't believe I was that bad at parting, so I mounted an old Crowbolt high-speed steel tool in here. Wanted to use upside down, and it's called an upside down parting tool. Way overextended for a bit of 1.6 a wide blade, and it didn't part it with ease, but it parted down to what appears to be a join line, and I'm now scratching my head. I've got a 16mm hole here, and in the back end there's about 1.5 inch hole. So what I think's happened, this has been a top hat of some tool steel, A2 or whatever, welded onto a bit of 4140 or whatever, and I was trying to part off through the weldment. But here's the interesting part, and I've been a ginger beer for 54 years, or in the trade, and I've never seen anything like it. I'll zoom you in, try and get the camera up on the tool post here or whatever to show you. And now my trusty screwdriver is here. Here's something that I haven't seen before. The metal failed from the inside out. There's even a bit that's rusty here. So there's a crack that radiates out from the small hole just before it goes into the bigger bore, probably about 4mm deep from the inside of the material, and it's rusty. A bloody failure, metal failure. The outside is parted all the way through, about 14mm of solid with no defect whatsoever. So I haven't seen anything like it, but that's why it was difficult to part into. Mystery metal, I think it's a weldment, but it caused me a fair bit of grief. And surprisingly, the Crowbolt high-speed steel parting tool, it grumbled and groaned, and it only took a shaving, but it wore the last couple of mil through, and in the end I just broke it off with a screwdriver. It was getting too jumpy as it got interrupted. But yep, if I can get you in close enough, I'll show you the failure and you can make your own judgment here. Bring it back around for a look. Okay, I hope that's good enough to bring you in and show you where we're at. Spin the chuck a little bit. You can see there's a piece breaking away on the inside, and there's some rust just there. Bigger bore, much bigger than what goes through the back of the item, which I'll swing you around to see shortly. But there's the depth of the part. That'll be at least 12mm, 14 including the bit that's breaking out. So what the hell the material is, I don't know, but we've got it off. Anyway, now I can face the remainder of the part and use it as the top hat. Can't zoom you in because I don't know how, but you can see there's rust on the inside. Now normally metal would fail from the outside in, but to have a big crack like that on the inside, it's just got me stymied. But also I'm feeling a lot happier. I don't think it was my fault. Okay, bye for now. I'll try and get a bit more tomorrow or the day after, just as things progress here. I don't want to show you the rider mile with all this bloody clothes off. It's been a horrible turd, everything to work on. Okay guys, bye. Now I'll get back around the other side of the lathe and give you a bit of a look at facing it off. As I stated in the previous video, I was always taught to face off from the inside out, the old English way. Put about 5 thou on, and at the start of it, that's hard material. You can actually feel the resistance to parting it through. And now it starts to come good. And it chips differently. So that's got me scratching my head. How the hell was it welded on the inside? Yeah, that bit, it doesn't want to turn. And now it comes through. So how about some thoughts on this? What the hell is it? Maybe it was multi-pass and the first pass chilled a hell of a lot faster. I don't know where it's going. In the shit bin. Okay, I'll throw out the hat section and see if we can get that flat enough to face yet off too. Okay, the top section, or the top hat for what I'm doing, is in the lathe. I'm just going to gently try and skim that bit out of the middle. Let's see how hard it is. I don't know if you could see on the other part that I was turning, but the inside of that material, or the closer to the bore, it was as glazed as all hell. Just going about 5th hour time. I'm going to spin it in the chuck. It's already had enough of that. Now it's coming off reasonably easy. It's changing tone now. So I would say we're mostly through the brittle part of it. It is still fairly tough material, whatever it is. I slowed the speed down to 240 RPM too. By the time I face this out, it's going to be out to 2-inch diameter. I know even at this low speed it was fairly tough. Just about to face it. No, a little bit more. Just about there. It's been machined awful unusually. This thing wasn't dished, it was convex, not concave. Near enough to swearing for me. It's come out reasonably good. I can still use that as the top hat inside the grinder mount. Okay, bye for now. G'day again guys, back in the shed for a few minutes and a bit of an explanation that exonerates me, I hope. This is the item that I was parting off to finish up with a top hat section from the original bit, and lo and behold, look inside here, it's been welded in and it looks very much like they did a root pass on the inside first and then came back and did a major structural weld at high temp, right where some dumb bugger like me is coming in with a parting tool. It gets worse than that. I was amazed when I first saw this circular or annular piece here. That was parted off. fits nicely. So as well as parting off into a weld that would have been well and truly hard, this bit was turning up against the parting tool, so I can see why the poor old parting tool laid down and had a bit of a die. I feel a little bit better. I trust my ISCAR a little bit more. I'll put a straight edge up against the side of the blade because I think I might have bent the little tongue that hangs over the top to hold the insert, and being a high-speed steel blade, I don't know that I've got so much chance of recovering it, but at least there's another end that gets away from that story. So I have a top hat section now, an explanation of why the parting tool failed, and I've started on doing the post that will come up from the base of the body of the tool post grinder. That's that fellow there. That's the diameter of the inside, and 56.8 millimeters. Really? I can't understand that. And I thought for sure it'd be a 45-degree taper, pretty easy to replicate with the tool post. And I went in, threw this up to see how it fits, and it's not. It's 47.5 degrees. How would you come to that as a standard in part of a machine tool? It just doesn't make much sense. But anyway, what I'm doing here, that's the diameter of the bore of the main body. That'll be the 45-degree chamfer, and I'll finish the diameter in the chamfer so that it fits with a little bit protruding underneath. That way this is what will be bolting down to the tool post or onto the machine, whatever I'm using, not the flat surface underneath. I think that'll give me a better chance of having things not rocking and moving. I could be proven wrong, and if that's the case, I'll just face this off a little further, and I'll be boring that out to 16mm for a clamping bolt to go through, and I will be welding a bit of RHS off there to hacksaw this off in the power hacksaw. I'm not going to risk another ISCAR parting tool. They're $15 an insert, and I think about 140 for the blade. So yeah, I don't have that much in loose change. So once it's chucked up and I'm cutting the angle, I'll bring you back. But yeah, that to me was a bit of a revelation, that I was cutting off a disc inside it, and you can see that what was remaining of the root parts of the weld, pretty rough, but it's down an inch and a bit, inch and a quarter into the bore, so it wouldn't have been an easy thing to do. And if it was welded here in Queensland, I know there would have been lots of peno applied, and that would have increased the amount of heat into the material and give a good reason to quench. Okay, I'll set up in a lathe and bring you back. Okay guys, this is one of the strange things about mystery metal. It actually drills quite nicely. Just a high-speed steel drill. I've got it running slow, 120 RPM, because it is tough stuff, but it turns the machines lovely. Can't understand it. So I'm still tending to call it something like A2 tool steel, something that will harden when it gets hot. But yeah, I'll show you a few chips coming out with the drill. Stop talking. And now it's just drilling like pre-cutting mild steel. Now it is a bit of a two-piece construction, so maybe it was a small bit of tool steel welded onto a mild steel shank, who knows. But at the moment it's behaving itself. I'm getting the hole through the middle that I want. Up. And that was a bad sign. I can't believe how the shanks on the drills mar up so easily now. Okay, we'll have another try. I just hope there's not something horrible waiting for me in there. Yes, and it's not drilling too concentric. That doesn't matter, it's only for a clamping bolt. I just don't want to be mucked about trying to clock it up in the 3-jaw. Well, that's just as soft as hell there. Just peeling out very, very well. and fairly soon it'll be deep enough. I am going to cut it off, there's no use drilling it any deeper than that. Okay, just a bit more and we'll call it quits. I'm surprised I haven't come across another well, the way this is so soft. I shouldn't say that, I'll end up breaking the bloody drill. That should be well and truly far enough. Okay, I'll bring you back when we're cranking it up in our hacksaw. Okay guys, I'm now just sitting down the back flange, and then I'll take a skim off to take the sharp edge off, and then in a few days time when I can get around to welding it, we'll cut it to size, but I won't get it faced off because I won't be able to hold it easily. Now this was how I was taught to face off back in the 1960s, and that's quite a long time ago. But the palm's always faced out from the centre, and I don't know why the Yanks go the other way. It puts a hell of a lot of force on the tool post. And yes, I am going rather slow in the RPM, but by the time you get out to 3-inch diameter, it's about the right speed. You see the chips start to turn a bit of a dark colour now, and I'm just not going to stop halfway and up the RPM because the chips are getting a bit hot too. Okay, we'll run back in for another one. And then I'll turn it off until we're finished. I said before, to me it doesn't matter how long it takes me to do a job. I'm now retired, and that's a pretty good feeling. Okay, bring it back in a sec. Well guys, it's goodbye for now. I've got to do a bit of work on the rider mower when the parts arrive hopefully tomorrow. And I need it because the grass is getting as tall as me. This has been quite a boring episode, but some of the shit you do is boring. Otherwise you don't get all of the shit done. I'm quite surprised. This one particular workpiece from I don't know who appears to have 3 different kinds of metal all built into one object, and well, that's okay, but if you don't know what you've got and it's a composite, it can get you in a bit of trouble and bang up quite a good parting tool. I'll try and do something a bit more interesting next week. I've got a job coming in from the club for the new club loco. They want me to build a riding car, which is a bit of a different design, so I'll run along with that as we fabricate it up. Okay, please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll get you in the next clip. Well guys, here's a little bit of a handheld finale to this episode. I finally grew some guts and accepted what Max Grant said to me to just give it a go. Okay, here we have a eccentric engineering upside down parting tool made in Sydney, Australia. It's got a T-head blade, not a tapered blade, and he calls it a cobalt material, which I would assume to be high cobalt. Now, it's only a 1/2 inch parting blade, and it's just gone through over 20mm deep in material. I'm quite happy. There was no balking. It just entered slowly. I'm only doing very low RPM and feeding it slowly, but yeah, I'm quite pleased with this. It's got my parting confidence back. Got to say, I was using Royal Lubricants Taptec oil, and the minute the cutting oil hit the job, it just went dead quiet. Absolutely beautiful lubricant. So here's one for me, hooray. It wasn't me, it was the bloody material. Okay, see you later.